Coming up, the Army puts on its annual Thanksgiving dinner. Find out where it'll be located. And 32nd Street is getting bigger. We'll have more details on how long it'll take and what area locals can expect. Also, the 171 roundabout is open for some traffic. We'll have more on when MoDOT says it'll be fully open.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Good morning and welcome to the KOAM Morning News. It's 5 a.m. I'm Tanya Bach. We'll get to those stories in just a moment. But first, let's go to Michael Hayslip on this Thanksgiving morning.
Out of complete habit, I take the detour for 171 yesterday afternoon. Then it dawns on me when I take the detour. The road closed sign isn't there anymore. So I actually got to go on the roundabout on the way back.
Oh, cool.
It did a good job with it.
Google has not updated that then.
See what?
Because I was going along and my Google Maps told me that there was a detour. So
yeah,
they have not updated it.
It's partially open now.
Right.
And like I said, they did a nice job with it. It's nice and it's huge. Looks great. Skywatch Storm Tracker, we are done with our Thanksgiving morning. Happy Thanksgiving, everyone. We are done with our Thanksgiving morning rain. Everything moving off already to the west of us. 37 degrees in Joplin, so the cold front definitely upon us with wind chills dropping as low as the high 20s. Are able to stay away from the freezing mark. No worry about anything that's still on the ground. Freezing by any means. Our ground's way too warm for that. Still got some 40s down there in the southeastern portion of our counties. 36 in Chanute and Oswego, 37 in Lamar and Carthage as well, 39 in Miami. There's that band, goes from Texas up to the Great Lakes, but for the most part, we are clear. There's not a whole lot behind it, and the weather trend is going to put us up into the 40s. So, yeah, it is going to be a little bit chilly even for this afternoon, but we'll get a whole bunch of sunshine. It'll be a delightful afternoon, crisp, cool, and clean. And then as we get into Saturday, well, it'll actually warm up a little bit, so that'll be nice. Remember, your Black Friday shopping, go stand in line overnight, hat, glove, the entire 9, because we will slip below 32 tonight into tomorrow.
Keep an eye on that for sure. All right, thanks, Michael. A major project in Joplin that includes some road closures is just 1 week away. 32nd Street from Schiffer-Decker to Central City will be widened to 3 lanes with the ability to expand that to 5 as the area grows. Starting December 1st, crews will begin clearing trees along 32nd Street in preparation of heavier work set to begin later in December. Toward the end of the month, the first road closure is expected to take place from Schiffer-Decker to Westbury Lane.
With that type of construction, we're doing several phasing of short-term and long-term road closures. Know that will be some inconvenience. We'll always get the property owners in and out.
The project is being done in 2 phases, with each of those broken into smaller groups to minimize the impact of road closures on the residents. It's expected to take around 2 years to complete. The roundabout at Highway 171, 96 and Route YY near Carl Junction is now open for traffic mostly. Jasper County Route YY is open only in the eastbound direction. According to MoDOT, they'll open that area fully at a later date. Drivers could still encounter periodic lane closures as crews wrap up minor work and cleanup. It's a lot more than a pothole. A large sinkhole has forced authorities to close Jung Boulevard between Central City and Black Cat Road in Joplin. The Joplin Special Road District believes a mine shaft might have opened beneath the road. Crews are working to fill it. And many folks may already be cooking for today's Thanksgiving dinner, and the Pittsburgh Fire Department wants to make sure people know what to do in case of an emergency. Fire Chief Dennis Riley says the department usually sees emergencies around Thanksgiving. They often have to deal with attempting to fry a turkey, and he says it's important to call 911 as soon as you see a fire.
We have seen fires in the past where notification has been delayed. Homeowners try to take action on their own. They get into a situation where there's too much for them to handle, and then they call the fire department. And fire grows exponentially.
Of course, as always, firefighters are on duty even through the holidays. Up to 100 people could have full bellies today thanks to a Jane, Missouri restaurant. Green's Bar and Grill is hosting a free meal for folks in need. They're serving up turkey, ham, mashed potatoes, egg salad, and much more.
It's just free for the whole community. We just want to give back to our community. So we're really thankful that the restaurants took off as well as it has, and we'd like to be able to give back to the community. We don't really know of anybody else that has done anything like this, so we wanted to be able to do it.
Again, Green says it can feed up to 100 people. This year's Salvation Army Thanksgiving Day dinner in Joplin is expected to be at capacity. Around 400 meals will be delivered. Salvation Army workers say donations for this year's dinner have been good.
Biggest thing is the food we get donated. We start working on that a few weeks before, getting in the quantities that we want, trying to purchase little as possible, which we have done very well with, getting the right amount of donations.
People can still sign up for the Joplin Salvation Army's upcoming Christmas dinner. You can find more community meals that are happening today in our area on our website at koamnewsnow.com. Well, Santa Claus has come to town. Old St. Nick, or at least one of his helpers, is set up at North Park Mall in Joplin. Of course, there were plenty of excited kids there yesterday to let the big man know what they want to see under the tree. But at least a couple of kids we caught up with were also excited about the reason for the season and their family coming together.
I get to celebrate Jesus' birthday. Who was that? Probably seeing everybody in one because we're usually at Christmas at our house. Everybody's in all these different rooms and it's kind of weird.
You can catch Santa up every day up until Christmas. Hours are 11 a.m. to 7 p.m. Monday through Thursday. Friday and Saturday, Santa will be at the mall from 10 a.m. to 8 p.m. and from noon to 6 on Sundays. That's a look at this morning's top stories and weather in our first 7 minutes. Coming up on the KOAM Morning News, J.J. Watt helps pay for funerals of victims who were victims of a senseless crime in Wisconsin. Plus, space, the final frontier. If you could go anywhere in space, where would it be? And Thanksgiving is here, and it's important to keep your guests from food poisoning. We're going to have what the FDA recommends you to do. You're watching the KOAM Morning News. More real news in the morning. We'll be right back.
Arizona Cardinals defensive end J.J. Watt will be covering funeral costs for those killed at the Wisconsin Christmas parade. Watt's a Wisconsin native, grew up in Waukesha, played football for the high school. Took to Twitter Sunday night after the driver of a red SUV plowed into a crowd of people at a Christmas parade. Watt described the initial images of the scene as horrific, also thanked everyone at the scene who rushed to help the wounded. Pitt State women's basketball team is 2-1 in their first 3 games. Last time out, Pitt State topped St. Mary 99-57. That was non-conference play last Thursday. Last night, Gorillas back on the floor facing former MIAA rival Lindenwood. Non-conference matchup early on. Great take. And the finish, Sydney Crane. Gorillas down 3 after the first quarter. Second quarter better for PSU. Aaliyah Myers. Nice look to Sydney Holmes. Holmes finishes for the 2. And then right before the half, Erin Davis. She had 8 points at the break for the senior. Pitt State goes up 7 to start the second half. Everything going at the rim for PSU early in that second half. Step through for Jamie Jackson. JJ had 10 when the defense sinks in. Tristan Gegg steps out. Do not leave Tristan Gegg open. I think, gosh, how do people not figure that out? 16 of her team high, 22 in the final 20 minutes. And then Crane did a little bit of everything. 11 points, 7 rebounds, 6 assists, 5 steals for Sydney. Gorillas outscored Lindenwood 24-13 in the fourth quarter as Pitt State wins at 74-56.
We just want to keep putting it on them. We were told they opened their feet really bad before the game started, so she said you got to get them down, got to get downhill and get to the free throw line. So that's really what we emphasized going into the second half.
We wanted to get to the free throw line. We wanted to get high percentage shots, and we thought we could get there. We thought that's what we'd seen on film, and that's the style we play. So I thought that the girls really kept that mentality as the game went on.
Now, the Pittsburgh State men's basketball team back in action tonight, going to be on the road against Henderson State. Gorillas off to a bit of a slow start this season, dropping 4 straight to begin the year. Yesterday against Henderson State, Gorillas fall 59-57. Ryan Pippins had a team-high 21 for PSU. Gorillas back in action at home over the weekend where they'll host Baker. Lamar Tigers, just a couple days away from playing in the state semifinals, hosting Richmond on Saturday. Got a spot in the Class II state title game on the line. Richmond's coming in 11-1. Tigers still undefeated, 12-0 this season. Practicing on Thanksgiving has kind of become normal for the Lamar Tigers. They've been in the semifinals all but one season since 2009. Head coach Jared Bishore says when it comes down to November football and winning in the playoffs, attention is in the small stuff. It's the details that make all the difference.
Detail-oriented people usually get good results. When you focus on the small things, that's the difference between a 5-yard gain and a touchdown a lot of times. So when we focus on that in practice, that's sometimes the difference between a win and a loss. Football's a game of inches. Our guys understand that. They've bought into that. They've been coached like that for a long time. I was coached like that, so it's really easy for them to buy into it and understand why it works and how it works.
Weather should be good there for everybody playing football over the weekend. As a matter of fact, we'll be back up in the 50s and 60s. Still to come on the KOM Morning News, a Mexican singer in hot water because of where he performed at. Going to find out why this is turning into such a big deal. And a check on our 7-day forecast when the KOM Morning News returns. 5:17, bring us a little weather on the 7s. Hope you're able to enjoy a marvelous Thanksgiving. I was about to say, hope you are enjoying your Thanksgiving. Then again, if it's 5:17, I hope you're enjoying coffee and watching the KOM Morning News, getting ready for everybody to show up and put the turkey in the oven. It's a clean Skywatch storm tracker. All the rain from overnight picked up 1/4 of an inch, Joplin Regional Airport. Everything fell just about exactly where we expected, and we're done. Just like that. So no travel concerns for today. It is a little bit chilly outside, 37 degrees right now in Joplin. That wind, okay, what a difference a day makes, 24 little hours. That south wind that we had that got us up into the high 60s, well, it's now coming in from the north, and it'll bite you when you walk around a corner out of the shelter. That is for sure. Temperatures ranging, let's go about 30, 34 is what we're seeing, low spot 33 in Iola. All the way up to a couple of 41s down there, Caspbell and Bella Vista. Miami sits at 39. But after the rain, there it is, and as it's going to be about 15 to 20 miles per hour this morning, definite wind chill out there. 22 is what it feels like in Iola and Yates Center. A whole bunch of 20s, as a matter of fact. That's kind of dominant number, and it'll be this way tomorrow as well. For those of you that are going to be out standing in line doing some shopping. Compared to where we were on Wednesday, we're seeing as much as 20-degree difference. But nice thing is, even if you got to travel to the east where all that rain is, it's going to be on the other side of the Mississippi here before we even get to sunrise. And really, nationally speaking, let's say you're going to jump on an airplane today. Don't have any concerns about that either. Delay is very, very minimal right now. Weather trend for our Thanksgiving. Highs, say mid-40s, so about 10 degrees cooler than what we'd normally see this time of year. But a whole bunch of sunshine too. It's going to be delightful this afternoon. So then, if you're going, there it is. If you're going to get in line overnight and get those Black Friday deals, it's going to be a multi-layer affair because we really won't get up past the freezing mark till after sunrise. But then look at this. Tomorrow afternoon, we're talking about, low to mid 50s. And then as we work into the weekend, we still got a handful of teams there still playing high school football, and congratulations to them. We're talking about 60 and sunny skies there on Saturday. Time to turn our attention now to the KOM News Now Facebook page and our morning Insta poll. What's up, Bobby? NASA launched a rocket Wednesday. Get this, it's got no intention of recovering it. In fact, it's more like a missile. Scientists hope it can change the course of an asteroid on a direct path to hit planet Earth. No, it's not out of a movie. We're not going to joke about Bruce Willis. We're going to bring in somebody official like Kristen Fisher to give us the story.
And liftoff of the Falcon 9 and DART The launch of NASA's first ever planetary defense mission. Instead of carrying satellites, telescopes, or people, this SpaceX Falcon 9 rocket is launching a spacecraft to test a technology that someday could save the world.
It may be the way to save planet Earth if there's ever an inbound big asteroid that could really challenge our existence as a planet.
It's what we call a global killer.
Even NASA Administrator Bill Nelson agrees it sounds like a scene out of the movie Armageddon.
The United States government just asked us to save the world. Anybody want to say no?
But instead of destroying a killer asteroid with a bomb like Bruce Willis, NASA's DART mission, short for the Double Asteroid Redirection Test, is using something called kinetic deflection. That's a scientific way of saying that this DART spacecraft is on a kamikaze mission to smash into an asteroid and try to push it off course.
If it's successful, then if we had a real inbound killer asteroid, we could do that with it and it would miss us.
It'll take the DART spacecraft 10 months to reach its target, the Didymos asteroid and its moonlet, which is about the size of the Pyramid of Giza in Egypt. It's so far away that NASA says it will not create a dangerous debris field in low Earth orbit like last week's test of a Russian anti-satellite weapon.
The DART mission is creating an explosion and a debris field way out, millions of miles in space, where it is not harming anything.
Now, while there's been a lot of talk about this NASA endeavor here, probably in just the past couple of weeks, I do think it's important to point out there are not currently any known asteroids that are a threat to planet Earth. I don't want everybody thinking, oh, okay, this is like got to be done. It's got to be done now. Our question to you this morning, if you could go anywhere in space, where exactly would it be? You can either connect to us via our Facebook page, or you can go directly to the poll, koamnewsnow.com/vote. We'll be back with Health Watch next.
Well, if it is. Topping Health Watch this morning, Thanksgiving is here and people are traveling to see family. However, frontline workers are seeing that people don't take the pandemic seriously, and they're even seeing cuts in pay. Caroline Cummings has more on the story.
Mary Turner is frustrated by a tale of two worlds inside and outside of the hospital.
It's about time the public takes this pandemic seriously once more.
She and other healthcare workers like her, a COVID nurse, haven't caught much of a break in the last 20 months. As the holidays near, Minnesota's hospitals are becoming overrun. Things so dire that 2 military medical teams are getting ready to help starting Thanksgiving Day. Turner, president of the Minnesota Nurses Association, says while they were once held as heroes, now sometimes they're treated as villains, asked to do better when they're doing nothing but their best.
Don't let me hear again you say, you've got to do better. No, that's too much.
The Minnesota legislature set aside $250 million in federal money to cut bonus checks for frontline workers like Turner. After months of talks, a bipartisan panel couldn't agree on who gets what and how much. A stalemate remains at the state capitol. Turner says now it's about much more than money.
And whether it is going to be $300 or $1,200, it's the idea of us being acknowledged. It's the idea that we are appreciated. How many more headlines do you need to see? How many more times do you need to open your paper, all the legislators, and see what we're dealing with before you stop playing petty politics?
Well, it was an apparent breakthrough when Minnesota Senate Republicans said they were willing to put talk of ousting Health Commissioner Jan Malcolm aside to advance negotiations. Governor Tim Walz says there's still too much unsettled, so a special session is as unlikely as ever, putting bonus checks on hold indefinitely. With more families returning to large gatherings this holiday season, health experts say it's important to keep your guests safe from food poisoning. The U.S. Department of Agriculture is reminding us to refrigerate perishable items within 2 hours and to freeze or eat your leftovers within 4 days. If you're reheating leftovers, make sure they reach 165 degrees before eating. And if you use the microwave, always cover and rotate your dishes. Remember, you can't put foil in the microwave. Protection from the Pfizer COVID-19 vaccine wanes over time, according to a new study published in the BMJ. Research found that there is a gradual increase in the risk of COVID-19 infection starting 90 days after receiving a second dose, meaning breakthrough infections are more likely 3 months after the shot. Study authors believe a booster shot may be necessary to prevent infection and spread of the virus. Athletes who played years of football and had more brain damage on MRI scans. A new study published in the American Academy of Neurology found that those who played contact sports had increased white matter on these scans, which were associated with changes in the brain. And the more years of football played, the higher the amounts of white matter. Research was based on the brains of 75 football or soccer players, boxers, or military veterans who all donated their brains to research after death. That's a look at some of today's top health stories. You're watching the KOAM Morning News.
But at least we're done with the rain. Temperatures right now ranging in between the freezing point of 32 and 140 down in northwest Arkansas. Highs today into the low to mid 40s. Whole lot of sunshine. It's the north wind that really cuts into you.
Coming up, the Salvation Army puts on its annual Thanksgiving dinner. And 32nd Street is getting bigger. We'll have more details on how long it'll take and what area locals can expect. Also, the 171 roundabout is open for some traffic. We'll have more on when MoDOT says it'll be fully open.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Good morning and welcome to the KOAM Morning News on this Thanksgiving morning. It is now 5:30. I'm Tanya Bach. Let's go to Michael Hayslip.
Hey, Tanya, overnight, if we go back to, say, just before midnight, here's a look at our rain on the satellite loop lasting 6 hours, picked up about 1/4 inch at Joplin Regional Airport. But now we're done. We have no worries for the rest of the day. Over 7th and Rangeline, 37 degrees, and the big factor is the wind shift. We'll see what role it plays here in just a second. But first, let's range anywhere from 32 to 40 degrees on this Thanksgiving morn. So as the front rolled through, the wind shifted behind it. Remember, past couple of days, how blustery it was. As a matter of fact, took our back door right out of the screws. We got a metal door on our back porch. Took the screws right out of that thing on the hinge of it. That's something else. But now it comes in from the north and does so at 20 miles per hour. And so wind chills are definitely present. All the way down to 22 degrees is what it feels like up in the northwestern portion of the 4 states. Whether you're going locally, regionally, maybe you're jumping in an airplane, there will be no severe delays or really worries when you're out and about on the roads today. And a weather trend that is going to have plenty of afternoon sunshine and take us up into the low to mid 40s. As far as future track goes, really setting up for 3 days of great weather headed into the Thanksgiving weekend. So if you've got plans here on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, you are in luck. As a matter of fact, we can probably hold the rain at bay until we get to the middle of next week.
Hey, no complaints here.
Mother Nature severely cooperated with us, deciding, hey, I got to get some rain out of my system, and so, you know, I'll do it. I started at the Hayslip Club, say about 8 o'clock with some sprinkles. And like I said, it's done.
I think I noticed the first sprinkles are, right around 6 o'clock.
You went west. Did you run into it early since it developed out there?
No.
You didn't?
Yesterday I did not go west. That was 2 days
My
ago.
bad. I don't know why I thought that.
It's okay. I went south yesterday.
You went south yesterday. Never mind. You were out of. You would have been the last.
Sorry, I've been doing a lot of driving lately.
I know. That's it. And I thought you went west. My bad.
I did notice it in the northern part of Crawford County around 6 o'clock a little bit.
Okay.
A few sprinkles, but it didn't hit till, like you said, 8.
I mean, really, it never hit. I mean, it was never a torrential downpour.
Around 9 it was. Northern part of the county.
Not the Hayslip Club.
Well, you lucked out.
The Hayslip Club's got a bubble, Mother Nature's bubble. Tell the control room, Carrie, that I'm thankful for Mother Nature's bubble.
Michael this morning is sharing everything that he's thankful for during the commercial breaks. And that was one that slipped through on air.
There you
I like
go.
it. Michael, I'm thankful for you.
That's very kind of you. I'm thankful. I would be more thankful if I could remember what direction you were driving and not make a fool of myself on air.
I could have just went with it and said, sure, yes, it came on early, but
That's what most.
that would be a lie.
That's what. Well, no, that because then you just would have been like my kids when I can tell when they're just like, whatever, Dad. I'm just gonna nod at you. So maybe Dad'll be quiet.
Okay.
I'm thankful for dad jokes and that my kids let me tell them.
Oh.
Caitlin went to the salon yesterday afternoon because, you know, she didn't have school or anything. She was getting prettied up, and she sent me a picture of her hands. And I was like, you nailed it. Yeah!
Good. That was good. Studio laughter on that one. All right. Thanks, Michael. Well, a major project in Joplin that includes some road closures is just 1 week away. 32nd Street from Schifferdecker to Central City will be widened to 3 lanes with the ability to expand that to 5 as the area grows. Starting December 1st, crews will begin clearing trees along 32nd Street in preparation of heavier work set to begin later in December. Toward the end of the month, the first road closure is expected to take place from Schifferdecker to Westbury Lane.
With that type of construction, we're doing several phasing of short-term and long-term road closures. Know that will be some inconvenience. We'll always get the property owners in and out.
The project is being done in 2 phases, with each of those broken into smaller groups to minimize the impact of road closures on the residents. It's expected to take around 2 years to complete. Well, the roundabout at Highway 171, 96, and Route YY near Carl Junction is now open for traffic, mostly. Jasper County Route YY is open only in the eastbound direction. According to MoDOT, they will open that area fully at a later date. Drivers could still encounter periodic lane closures as crews wrap up minor work and cleanup. Well, it's a lot more than a pothole. A large sinkhole has forced authorities to close Jung Boulevard between Central City and Black Cat Road in Joplin. The Joplin Special Road District believes a mine shaft might have opened beneath the road. Crews are working to fill it. This year's Salvation Army Thanksgiving Day dinner in Joplin is expected to be at capacity. Around 400 meals will be delivered. Salvation Army workers say donations for this year's dinner have been good.
Biggest thing is the food we get donated, we start working on that a few weeks before, getting in the quantities that we want, trying to purchase little as possible, which we have done very well with, getting the right amount of donations.
People can still sign up for the Joplin Salvation Army's upcoming Christmas dinner. That's a look at our top news stories. Coming up this half hour on the KOAM Morning News, the trucking industry is struggling to find workers. However, they're making big strides to fill those gaps. Plus, Turkey and the UAE are taking strides towards mending bridges that were once broken. We'll have the latest, but first, it's 5:37.
Temperatures right now as low as the freezing point with wind chills in the 20s. Whole lot of sunshine today. Going to be a delightful Thanksgiving. Still cool though, as we'll only top out around 43 degrees. Go into the weekend. Incrementally rising on the mercury, 53 on Friday, 61 on Saturday, and a whole lot of sunshine as well. Also, another positive, those overnight lows creeping up, and so we shouldn't have to worry about the freezing point for some time. We may be able to get out of November after tonight and tomorrow. We may be able to get out of November without getting down around 32 again. And then, of course, we'll say hello to December, see how that treats us. We'll be back with more KOAM Morning News and World Watch next.
Topping World Watch, Mexican singer Pablo Montero serenaded the questioned president of Venezuela, Nicolas Maduro, for his birthday and has faced much criticism. Several users on social media rejected Montero's participation in the celebration at the Miraflores Palace due to the delicate situation that Venezuela is going through. CNN contacted Pablo Montero's press agent, who shared an official statement on behalf of the singer in which he assures that he does not meddle in conflicts in each nation. In addition, he assured that as an artist, he has no party or flag other than Mexican music. From adversaries to friends, or at the very least, moving along that path, the UAE and Turkey are rebuilding a very damaged diplomatic bridge. The push for reconciliation coming after years of tension dating back to the Arab Spring, all leading to today's meeting between the Turkish president and Abu Dhabi's Crown Prince in Ankara. Jomana Karadish has more on the improving relations.
It was a stunning development. The UAE's national security advisor in Ankara this summer meeting with the Turkish president. What followed, even more stunning. A phone call between President Recep Tayyip Erdogan and the UAE's de facto ruler, Crown Prince Sheikh Mohammed bin Zayed. A senior Emirati official describing the call as, quote, positive and friendly, based on a new phase in which the UAE seeks to build bridges, maximize commonalities, and work together with friends and brothers to ensure future decades of regional stability. This week, the two leaders are meeting for the first time in years.
The reconciliation that I saw the least likely, or the most problems, divergent interests, was the UAE-Turkey relationship. So this type of fast-forwarding of the reconciliation process leading to a top-level meeting is definitely surprising.
The rift emerged with the so-called Arab Spring, with Turkey's support for popular uprisings in groups close to the Muslim Brotherhood, putting it at odds with Middle Eastern monarchies, including the UAE, that viewed these movements as a threat to their own rule. Tensions continued to rise, with Turkish officials accusing the UAE of supporting the 2016 coup attempt in Turkey. And in 2017, it was Turkey that extended a lifeline to Qatar when its Gulf neighbors tried to isolate Doha. The rivalry between the two regional powers played out through their expansionist foreign policy across the Middle East and Africa, where it unfolded dangerously in Libya's devastating proxy war.
But the dynamics across the region are starting to change, with clear geopolitical shifts. From Qatar's reconciliation with the Saudi-led alliance to longtime foes, Saudi Arabia and Iran engaged in diplomatic talks. The UAE and Iran are also trying to de-escalate tensions. And it seems Turkey is on a diplomatic spree, trying to mend ties with Saudi Arabia and Egypt, and now bitter rival, the UAE.
There's a lot of changing regional dynamics that are leading actors in the region to reformulate and recalibrate their foreign policies. Now, the inauguration of U.S. President Joe Biden, the Aramco attack on Saudi Arabia by Iran-backed militia, the withdrawal of American forces from Afghanistan led by the Taliban takeover, the perception of less U.S. engagement in the region, a return to the Iran nuclear deal. These are all factors that are leading these countries to reformulate their strategies.
For Turkey, this is not just about mending fences. It is very much about the dire state of its economy, with inflation near 20% and its currency, the lira, at an all-time low.
Came to power in 2002 on the back of positive economic policies. He stayed in power due to the economy. So a weaker economy before 2023 elections is definitely something he doesn't want. And the Emiratis have the money to be able to provide a booster shot for the Turkish economy.
Before relations soured, Turkey was one of the UAE's biggest trade partners, and both sides are hoping to pick up where they left off, with the Gulf state already eyeing more investment opportunities in Turkey.
No one is expecting one high-level meeting to resolve a decade-long feud, but many are hoping this could be the beginning of the end of a rivalry that continues to reverberate across this region and beyond. Jomana Karadish, CNN, Istanbul.
Colombia marked 5 years since the signing of a historic peace accord that was meant to end decades of internal conflict on Wednesday. The government marked the occasion with an event attended by United Nations Secretary General Antonio Guterres. Also in attendance was former President Juan Manuel Santos, who was in office when the treaty was signed, as well as current President Ivan Duque. The leader of FARC, Rodrigo Landano, known as Timochenko, also attended the event. At least 27 migrants are dead after a boat capsized in the English Channel off the coast of Calais, northern France, on Wednesday. French Prime Minister Jean Cadix has described the sinking of a boat carrying migrants in the English Channel as a tragedy. French Interior Minister Gerald Darmanin is heading to Calais. He expressed strong emotions facing the tragedy of the deaths of many migrants after the boat capsized in the English Channel. France's regional maritime prefecture said in a statement that a search and rescue operation for survivors was still ongoing in the Strait of Pas de Calais. That's a look at some of your biggest headlines from around the world. Let's toss it over to Michael for something to talk about.
Thank you, Tanya. KOAM News Now Facebook page and our morning Insta poll. NASA launching essentially a missile into space, and its goal is to strike an asteroid and try to alter its course. Now, important to point out, the asteroid is not headed for Earth, but they got to see if this whole plan maybe has a chance to work in the first place. So it's called the DART mission. Our question to you this morning: if you could go anywhere in space, where would it be? We're going to split these up about as even as we can, except for fictional planets, because they actually don't exist. 33% within the galaxy, along with outside the galaxy, and no space for me, say 33% of you. You can make your voice heard either by visiting the KOAM Facebook page or going straight to the poll, koamnewsnow.com/vote. Go come back with the news you need to know before you head out the door right after this.
Here's a check of today's top headlines, the news you need to know before you head out the door. It's a lot more than a pothole. A large sinkhole has forced authorities to close Jung Boulevard between Central City and Black Cat Road in Joplin. Joplin's Special Road District believes a mine shaft might have opened beneath the road. Crews are working to fill it. The roundabout at Highway 171, 96 and Route YY near Carl Junction is now open for traffic. Mostly, Jasper County Route YY is open only in the eastbound direction. According to MoDOT, they will open that area fully at a later date. And drivers could still encounter periodic lane closures as crews wrap up minor work and clean up. This year's Salvation Army Thanksgiving Day dinner in Joplin is expected to be at capacity. Around 400 meals will be delivered. Salvation Army workers say donations for this year's dinner have been good. Many folks may already be cooking for today's Thanksgiving dinner, and the Pittsburgh Fire Department wants to make sure people know what to do in case of an emergency. Fire Chief Dennis Riley says the department usually sees emergencies around Thanksgiving. They often have to do with attempting to fry a turkey, and he says it's important to call 911 as soon as you see a fire. That's a check of today's top headlines, the news you need to know before you head out the door.
Done with our overnight rain. Everything is moved off to the east. Picked up 1/4 of an inch of accumulation at Joplin Regional Airport. A little bit chilly outside, 37 degrees. And we do have a wind chill in effect, only feeling like it's 28 in Joplin. These are actual temperatures. Iola slipping below the freezing mark, now down to 31. Manessa at 36 and Miami at 37. Big factor is the wind shifting, and not only deciding to shift and move in from the north, but doing so at 15 to 20 miles per hour. We just can't get out of the wind's way, no matter what direction it's coming in from. And that's got wind chills as low as 22 up in the northwestern portion of the 4 states. No travel concerns. Contiguous 48 looking absolutely pristine. And a lot of sunshine for this afternoon. Not much of a warm-up, but still a great-looking Thanksgiving. I hope you're able to enjoy it with your family and friends. As we head into the weekend, oh man, this is going to be just wonderful. How about 61 on Saturday, 54 on Sunday? Friendly reminder, if you're going to do a little Black Friday shopping overnight, make sure you bundle up, because this will be the one night where we get back down below the freezing point. We'll be back. Celebrate this morning's 4-state hero right after this.
We take this time to honor today's 4-state hero, Bill Pettibon. Part of the 3rd Company, 44th Division of the 71st Infantry, Staff Sergeant Bill Pettibon served in France, Germany, and in Austria. He received a Good Conduct Medal, Infantry Badge, and the European Campaign Ribbon with 3 stars. His hometown, Deerfield, Missouri. We thank you, Bill Pettibon, our 4-state hero. Well, a shortage of truck drivers is a big reason the U.S. is in a supply chain bottleneck. The American Trucking Association estimates the industry is short about 80,000 drivers. Caroline Cummings reports on efforts to recruit more young people and women to the profession.
When most of us hit the road, it isn't in a semi-truck.
This is your shifter.
But in South St. Paul, hundreds per year trained to drive large loads long distances.
What we do here is just to make sure that they know exactly what to expect when they actually start working and hit on the road for the first time.
Despite all of the new drivers learning the rules of the road, the industry says there's still not enough of them to transport billions of freight per year across state lines. One solution at the federal level, a pilot program to train drivers under 21, the current legal age limit.
We have not had much interest from the younger generation in driving truck, to be honest with you.
Bill Collins, owner of Interstate Truck Driving School, says he doesn't think the new change will make a big dent in solving the problem, and safety advocates have serious concerns.
The trucking industry should not be tapping into high school hallways and putting them onto high-speed highways.
Starting pay is as high as Collins has ever seen it in decades, and he says wages should stay there.
And I think that'll solve the problem right there.
That and expand interest to a key part of the workforce.
Many hope more women will step up to the plate and get behind the wheel because so few of us are on the road today.
About 7% of truck drivers are women. The infrastructure bill set up a federal advisory board to help with female recruitment.
That would have, I think, a greater benefit than attracting the 18, 19, 20-year-olds.
And it's a wonderful job.
Joanna Sager of Andover, in her own way, is boosting those numbers, leaving a 20-year career behind to start a new one.
They've changed or are changing things to make it more comfortable for us. And truck stops are changing showers and bathrooms and, you know, the things that women, it's important to.
In South St. Paul.
It's a profession to go into that I think women would enjoy.
Caroline Cummings, WCCO 4 News.
All right, well, coming up today at noon, we're making a gobble it up turkey pie in the Mr. Food Test Kitchen.
Of course, your morning news continues on KOAN. The CBS morning news, because it's of the holiday, that's actually coming up next.
Or you can stick around for an hour and then switch on over with us on Fox 14, where your only local morning news continues. And this morning, a WWE superstar gets a match he wasn't expecting.
Also, a look behind the scenes of the Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade. So once again, give us an hour. We're going to jump on over to Fox 14. Have a happy Thanksgiving. I hope you enjoy your day. Do me a favor, be safe. We'll do this all again tomorrow morning.
And we're going to do it again today at noon.
Maverick Holiday Headquarters.